Hello and welcome to the tutorial on robotic process automation using UiPath. In this session, we will consider an example to build a workflow using data scraping wizard that scrapes the blog post titles from the UiPath blog from multiple pages. So initially, we will try to open the UiPath's blog web page, and then we will use the data scraping wizard and try to scrape the blog posts titles along with their respective URLs, and we will span through multiple pages and scrape all of the informations, and then finally we will try to store all of the information into an Excel file. So let us jump into our UiPath Studio software and let us create a new flowchart and let us give it a name as blog scraping and say create. And once the designer panel is ready, so now we will add the different activities. So the first activity that we are going to add here is the open browser activity. So this we will add, and we will change the browser type in the properties panel and change it to be Chrome so that we get the faster accessing of the browser. So we'll go inside this activity, and in the quotations we will specify the URL, that is www.uipath.com/blog. Okay, so once we load this URL, next thing is to start scraping the information. So before proceeding with that, let us give a confirmatory message to the users saying the scraping is going to start now. So we'll make use of a simple message box here inside the do section, and within quotations we will specify scraping will start now. Okay, so we'll come back to our basic workflow. So here the next thing is to start scraping the information. So we'll click on the data scraping from the ribbon, and we'll go to the URL from where we need to scrape the information. So this window will appear whenever you click on the data scraping icon, and this is the extraction wizard from where you should start the extraction process. So we should open up the application or the browser or document from where we would like to scrape, and then we should be ready with that, and then we should click on this next button. So once we click on the next button, the UiPath will allow you to choose the part of the application or the web page so that you can scrape it. So let us choose this title of the blog, and once it is clicked, we'll get another window. So UiPath is going to ask for second element so that it can find the appropriate pattern, and we need to indicate the similar field based on which UiPath will try to scrape. So let us click on the next button and to try to click on the second blog title. So I'll click here now. So one more window will appear now. So it will ask, is it just the extraction of the text or also its URL associated with it. So let us name the column here as blog title, and we would also like to extract the associated URL. So here I'll say blog URL. Okay, and say next. Okay, So once we click on the next, one more window will appear with all the scraped information. So these are the blog titles and these are the blog URLs. So the maximum number of results that it is extracting can be given here in the form of number. So here it is mentioned as 100. If you want all of the information to be scraped, then you should specify the 0. Okay. So then we should click on the finish button. So once this is done, the UiPath will ask you one more question, that is the data spanning across multiple pages? So sometimes in the browser search results, you may get the pages of information to be paginated, that is the results are segregated into different number of pages. So if that is the scenario, then UiPath will go through all of those multiple number of pages and tries to fetch the information from all those pages. So that's why if the data that we want to scrape is spanning across multiple pages, then we can indicate using the yes button. Otherwise we can click on the no button. So let us click on the yes here and try to indicate the button from where it can extract more number of blog titles and its respective URL. So this is the button from where it can get more number of blogs. So let me click here. So now we'll go back to our workflow. So the data scraping activity is added here. So if we just click here, so now you can see the first activity that is being added here is the attach browser activity and then the extract structured data activity from the available web page. Okay, so these are the activities that are added by default. Okay, and the output of this data extraction is stored in a variable that is automatically created whenever we run the data scraping wizard, that is extracted data table. So let us go to the variables panel and change its scope. Okay, so right now the scope of the extracted data table is with respect to data scraping sequence. So let us change it to the entire workflow, that is blog scraping. So done. So let us go back to the workflow and now we will connect this to our data scraping, and the next task is to dump all of this information into an Excel file. So for that we will use the Excel application scope. So let us indicate it here, Excel application scope. Let us go inside this activity and let us select a file, Excel file we will choose. So I have created an Excel file on the desktop, say blog data.xlsx. So once we open up this Excel file, our task is to write all of the information into this particular Excel file. So let me go through the Excel file once. So this is my Excel file with first row being added with blog title and the URL as the first two column values. So I should go on writing the scraped information right from the second row. So let us go back to our UiPath and here let us add an activity called as write range activity. So write range activity will help you to write the data table into an Excel file. So write range activity requires three parameters. One is the sheet where you want to write and the cell from where it should start writing. So in our case the A1 cell already has the blog title as the name and B1 has the URL. So let us start writing the data from A2 cell, and the data table that we want to write is the extracted data table. So we need to indicate this particular thing. Okay, so done. So once we write the data to an Excel file, let us have a simple message box and indicate a message for the users saying the scraping is done. So let us write it here. Scraping is complete. Okay, so done. So this is what we are intending to build. So now let us execute this workflow. So it has started the debugging of the workflow, and now it has started the execution of the workflow, and now the bot has started running. The UiPath blog web page is opened, and we have got this message box saying scraping will start now. So once we click on the OK button here, so the data scraping wizard will start working, and the bot will try to fetch all of the information from the blog page, and then it will try to dump it into the Excel file right from the A2 cell. And once it writes all of the information that it has scraped, and it will show you a simple message box saying the extraction or the data scraping is complete. So once the data is extracted from the data scraping wizard, it is stored in the form of a data table. So that data table itself, we are trying to dump it into an Excel file. Okay, so this is going to take a bit of time to scrape and then try to dump it in the Excel file. So now we have got a simple message from the message box saying scraping is complete. So let us click on OK button. So if we can go back to our Excel file, you can see the information is being retrieved from the data scraping wizard, and it is now available in the Excel file. So this is how we build a data scraping workflow, wherein we try to fetch information from different window application or browser or any other type of application.